what's up guys, welcome back to another video. This is a reaction to the most remote places left in America, lower 48. Now this is a video I guess looking at each individual state's most remote place, although it's an 11-minute video, so I don't know if that would be long enough to fit all this in, or just places within the contiguous US where pretty much are just the most remote. It's maybe not going to go from state to state, it's just going to go by remoteness. I mean, I'm looking at this, there's about there's about 10 different ones I think that'll be here. But yeah, this should be interesting. I do enjoy these kinds of videos and it'll be cool to see. I mean, remote in the US is like genuinely remote, right? Like remoteness in the UK is sort of like, you can get somewhat remote, but sort of it's just not really comparable. Like you could be remote in the US and genuinely be 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 miles away from people, maybe more. In the contiguous USA, you probably could, in like some forests and like where people hike and stuff, but yeah, maybe there's more than that, to be fair. But yeah, we're going to check this out anyway. Hopefully going to enjoy. Hopefully you're all doing well. Haven't posted for a long time. Just busy with college. And now it's a bit more... I've got a bit more time on my hands so I can do more videos and stuff. So yeah, we're going to get back to these reactions and see what this video shows me.
The continental United States is one of the most interconnected areas in the world. And few regions within it can still truly be considered remote and difficult to travel through. I mean, just look how much Google Street View covers the country. It's almost hard to comprehend how many roads there are. However, in this video, I'm going to highlight 10 of the most remote and inaccessible regions left in the continental United States using Google Earth. These locations lack any substantial roads, lack any significant human habitation, and are composed of extremely difficult terrain that makes them some of the last truly wild places in the lower 48.
Okay.
If you are a consistent viewer of my channel, I actually plan to visit all of these places in the future, and I should be visiting several of them this year, so keep an eye out for that.
Damn.
Starting at number 10, we have the Maze in Utah. This is the only region on this list that is not an official wilderness area. It is also one of several regions in this video that is located within a national park, Canyonlands in this case. While this might bring some surprise, as most would expect a national park to mean immense crowds on busy roads, this does not hold true for the Maze district of Canyonlands. While it technically does have a road, it can hardly be called a road.
That's a road.
You would either need an extremely capable
That's a mad car, by the way. Look at the capabilities of what this car is doing.
It can hardly be called a road.
What car even is this?
You would either need an extremely capable 4x4 rig or the help of a guided trip. The rest of the region must be hiked or climbed across. It is called a maze for a reason, as it contains a dense labyrinth of thousands of canyons, many of which have never been named or photographed.
Damn.
With only a few main trails and harsh desert conditions, the maze is not heavily traveled, leaving it as a relatively untouched and inaccessible area.
That would be quite a creepy place to go to, because I feel like you could get lost so easily there.
Number 9 is an area known to the locals as the Bob.
What a name.
Named after Bob Marshall, who was a forester and the co-founder of the Wilderness Society. The Bob Marshall Wilderness Complex contains multiple mountain ranges and multiple connected wilderness areas, totaling over 1.5 million acres. This area is entirely roadless and only contains a few old Forest Service lodges that are no longer running. The only way to travel this area is to start on foot or horseback from one of the various trails on the edges of the wilderness. Its most notable feature is a 22-mile-long, 1,000-foot-tall rock wall, referred to as the Chinese Wall.
What the hell?
Containing many high mountain peaks, rugged terrain, and abundant grizzly bears, this region remains very wild to this day. It was actually only in researching for this video that I discovered that this Chinese Wall and the entire Bob Wilderness existed, and I'm really excited to go here in the future and hopefully hike along the Chinese Wall. It's just one of the coolest geologic features I think I've ever seen.
I've never seen this place before, and I don't know why, because it definitely stands out.
I'm super excited to visit this place, hopefully in the next couple of years. Number 8 is the Owyhee Canyonlands region. This is a vast, empty area, complete with one of the largest canyon networks in the United States. While the region itself is not too hard to access, traversing the hundreds of deep canyons is another story. The canyon complex spans 3 states, Idaho, Nevada, and Oregon. These canyons are particularly inaccessible due to their
What the heck?
incredibly steep cliffs which offer few points of entry. In addition, many of the rivers are extremely treacherous even for the most experienced rafters, several of which have died on these waters.
Holy shit.
Although there are several roads in the region, many are very rough and there are absolutely no services out there. Many of the smaller side canyons remain unphotographed and unnamed. I've been lucky enough to visit several of these canyons due to their close proximity to my home, and I plan to make a video the next time I go there.
Okay.
Number 7, the Boundary Waters region of Minnesota. While this area may not be as topographically extreme as some of the other regions on this list, it gets points for being very unique among American wilderness. The only way to traverse this 1 million acre area is by foot or canoe. Located on the Canadian Shield, this area contains over 1,000 lakes and hundreds of miles of rivers.
Lakes.
This makes it easily the best place in America to backcountry canoe camp.
This is in Minnesota. This looks like the Everglades. I mean, maybe not. I don't know. To me, it does. I mean, this looks really cool, though. I just couldn't imagine this being in Minnesota.
Additionally, it contains the largest remaining uncut forest in the eastern U.S. and is the only representation of the East on this list.
I want to see the
Number
forest.
6 is the Wind River Mountains. The Wind Rivers might be the most impressive range in the West, at least in my opinion. They are home to Wyoming's highest point, Gannett Peak, which is widely considered the most difficult state high point to summit outside of Denali in Alaska. Over 150 glaciers are present in the range, and Gannett Glacier is the largest in the Rocky Mountains of the U.S. They are a very large mountain range at over 100 miles long, and not a single road crosses the range. There are many access points, all in the foothills, but to reach the central peaks, the only way is on foot. With thousands of alpine lakes and probably just as many grizzly bears, this range is truly a sight. I visited this range twice in 2024, and both times were breathtaking, and I couldn't believe the scale of this mountain range.
Holy shit.
You can count on seeing me there again this year. Number 5 is within another national park, the Olympic Mountains. I did not even know until researching this video, but almost the entire national park is wilderness, and the central mountains lack any roads that venture far into the interior. Most of the visitation to this park is to the separate coastal section, which is much easier accessed than the high mountain peaks. There are many trails in the mountains, but still the vast majority...
Is that a rainforest in this region? It looks like a rainforest somewhat. I don't know if it is, though.
...of the region is impenetrable coastal rainforests surrounded by glacier-capped mountains. Once you get past the tree line, the going gets a little bit easier, but...
This looks a bit sketchy, I'm not gonna lie. But where's the support? It looks like it could fall at any point.
It can still be dangerous alpine hiking. This keeps many hikers limited to day hikes, and only experienced backpackers and mountaineers venture deep into these mountains.
Understandable.
Number 4 is the Selway-Bitterroot Wilderness of Idaho and Montana. At 1.3 million acres of continuous land without roads, it is
that's crazy. This is not even number 1 either. Holy shit.
The second largest continuous wilderness area outside of Alaska. It is separated from the largest continuous wilderness area, which is later on this list, by one mere dirt road. The only way to access this massive area is by various trail entry points on the outskirts or a few backcountry airports located within the area. Unlike some of the other mountainous areas on this list, the majority of this region is alpine parkland instead of rocky crags like the Wind Rivers. However, it does still have many high peaks due to the Bitterroot mountain range being within it.
So pretty much all of it is like mountainous regions, which does make sense. I mean, that's what you'd expect with a mountainous region, right? But I mean, there's been a few like that weren't mountainous, but overall I feel like that is what will determine whether something is going to be remote or not.
Abundant with wildlife like gray wolves and elk, this area is one of the largest truly wild areas left in the mainland US. That is such because of its remoteness rather than its inaccessibility. The Selway-Bitterroot Wilderness area and the number 1 wilderness area on this list are located pretty close to me, and I hope to visit them soon. I have been in them before and just not really made a video. I did make a video going into the Bitterroot Mountains, but not the Middle Fork of the Salmon River where I've been before. But Anyway, I'm really excited to go back to these places soon since they're pretty close to me, and you guys can look forward to that.
North
Number 3
Cascades.
goes to the North Cascades region. Although it encompasses another national park and is split into several different wilderness areas due to a highway running right through the center, it is still high on this list because of its extremely dangerous terrain. Although they aren't the highest mountains in the mainland US, they are the highest in the far northwest, causing them to receive immense amount of snowfall and accumulate many glaciers, as well as being shrouded by thick temperate rainforest. This makes them very dangerous and causes the park to have the highest death rate of any park in the US.
60 people per 1 million visits. Flipping hell. That's the biggest by loads as well. Next is Mount Rainier. Wait, how do you say it? Is it Rainier? I don't know how you say it. Rainier. I don't actually know how you say it. Whatever it is, this one is like what? 20 times more dangerous? Bloody hell.
Yes. Several roads are present in and around the park, but all of the surrounding wilderness areas are not split or entered by any roads. Because of this, most of the high interior peaks are completely inaccessible beyond the trails to anyone who is not an experienced mountaineer. This mountain range is probably the highest on my bucket list, and I hope someday that I'm good enough at mountaineering to be able to summit some of these craggy peaks.
This looks scary as fuck, bro.
Number 2 is the Absaroka range of Wyoming and Montana. These mountains cover a massive area and are much wider than many of the other ranges on this list due to their unique geology, making the interior lands much harder to reach. Covered by 4 different large wilderness areas totaling 2.5 million acres, each section represents a massive chunk of wild, untouched land. They are home to some of the highest concentrations of grizzly bears left in the lower 48, not to mention countless other species of wildlife. It is characterized by millions of acres of roadless high mountain peaks and canyons. This area is notable because it actually has the most remote location in the lower 48 from a distance to road standpoint.
Okay.
Being a less flashy mountain range compared to the nearby Tetons or Wind Rivers, this range receives nowhere near the level of visitation. This leaves it largely wild and untouched, even by major recreation standards. The Absarokas are actually located pretty near to me, and I'm hoping to visit them this year and hopefully doing a pretty big backpacking trip. So you guys can look out for that this year.
Fair enough, man. You got balls of steel. I'm good.
Number 1 on our list is the largest contiguous wilderness area in the continental United States at 2.36 million acres of roadless land.
God damn.
It is connected to the Gospel Hump Wilderness and some other roadless Forest Service land, forming a 3.3 million acre area devoid of roads, which is why it's first on this list. Combining this with the Selway-Bitterroot Wilderness, of which it is only separated by one dirt road, makes an area of uninhabited wilderness the size of New Jersey.
Holy shit.
The only access to this area is from perimeter hiking points, the Salmon
And I was saying at the start of the video, it'd be 50 miles from people. I think it's a bit more than that.
River, or several airstrips located within the region. It's dominated by several mountain ranges, as well as the middle fork of the Salmon River, which is popular for rafting. However, much like the Absarokas, this area remains under the radar for most tourists, making it a very untouched area to this day, with few trails in its massive area. This, combined with its large size, makes it my most inaccessible and remote region left in the continental United States.
Bloody hell.
This was by no means a comprehensive list, and I am sure I missed some areas, so you can comment those below.
I mean, to be fair, just giving an idea of these places is more than enough. It's pretty cool to see this. The Chinese wall looks absolutely insane. I have no idea. I've never heard of it. I mean, I do reactions to this stuff all the time, and I've never seen it before, which is pretty mad because I do reactions to all kinds of things. My dad tried solo snowshoeing Bob Marshall. Got a few miles in before he noticed a giant cougar paw print and realised he was not the biggest, baddest carnivore in the neighbourhood and hightailed it back to his base camp. Bring high fiber, bring high caliber blued steel, the locals call bear spray perfume, or seasoning for the grizzlies. Oh damn, is that put them off or something? Bloody hell, man, that is wild. Oh man, the US is different. You've just got all kinds of things. But yeah, this is a really cool video. If you want to check this guy's channel out, links will be in the description to this video. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Actually, yeah, let me know if you've been to any of these places. I mean, I don't know if all these places are like he said as well, like well known. But if you've been to some of these places or one of them, let me know your experiences. Like, do you feel as remote as they actually come across in these videos, or do you like see a lot of other people hiking and stuff, so it maybe doesn't feel as remote? I guess it depends what time you go as well, but let me know your thoughts in the comments, and yeah, until next time, subscribe. Peace.